Thanks. Let's mute. See, the audio and the thing used to be off at the same time, but now when that is the thing and the audio, there was a thing that the tech priest, she couldn't fix. So now I've got to click 2 buttons. Hello, Fortnite Balls. Please don't spam. I can see you. Afternoon, everyone. A Wild Winters has appeared. Sanguinary Guard, Warsmith Korath, Platinum Nana, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. Fortnite Balls, sit down. Calm down. Calm down, Fortnite Balls. I know. I had to go online. The second time ever in the history of the Imperium that a Primarch is reborn. Lionel Johnson is returned to us after 10,000 years. So I've got the lore goggles on of doom. Just in case any lore questions come up, I have the lion with me for anyone who wants to see my appalling paint job. And I also have the book to answer any questions. But before we get started, is the sound okay? Tell me the sound's okay. And we have to address the great big elephant in the middle of the room, which is I might have the lion and I might have the book. But who out there has got this thing? It's a Primarch coming back. A Primarch. It's not Angron. It's not Mortaran. It's not Magnus. It's not Perturabo. It's not Fulgrim. It is a loyalist Primarch. How many Space Marine players do you think there are? How many painters do you think want to get their hands on this thing? And £65? I thought I'd peg it in for about 50 with the Blade Guard squeezed in there as well. But £65 and you can't get it. And now Scalpers are settling it for 3 million. Do not buy from Scalpers. Sound is good. Sound is good. Logged in at 11:15 and the website was down. Then it was sold out before I could get near him. Exactly. I mean, someone at Games Workshop is responsible for making sure they missed the mark so many times. Like there's so many Black Templars box sets still lying around, but the lion? Come on now. And other times where they've... I mean, is it me? Is it me? Or did we I mean, is it, guys? Should have they made sure? Is it? I mean, is it? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts? I'd love to have a new lion, but I'm not even allowed to pre-order him on release. Yeah, you're in a different country. What can we see in the reflection of his glasses? Probably my calendar's up there, and then all the post-it notes that are all around me, which are basically my to-do list. The lion, the other computer screen. I'm in the East Coast USA. He hasn't gone on sale here yet. Damn. Dante's still available too. Yeah. I've seen him up on eBay already for like a couple £100, or someone's showed me a thing. But the elephant in the room has been addressed with Fur. Have we? Your local gaming store sold out the lion in under a minute. I had it in my basket. Then by the time I went to pay, out of stock. Mick the machine. Yeah. They probably printed enough. But Scalpers. You think that I don't think it works like that. I don't think that suddenly a flood of Scalpers bought enough, let's say 1,000 or something, or bought enough to suddenly make them out of stock. I don't think that's how this shit works. I think, mind you, there might be professional bot factories out there seeing which stuff is selling really quickly, then automatically buying. I mean, there's ways it could be done, I guess. I don't know enough about computers. Do you know enough? I don't know. I just feel like there are times when they've got more than enough. I mean, Angron's still in stock. Did he go out of stock? And Angron is a glorious model, but he's £100. But the lion, he shouldn't be. What do we think? They couldn't get him anywhere. Yeah, seriously. WTF is GW thinking with not having enough stock for a Primarch release. It's a Primarch release. I mean, it's not when old Russ comes back waving his axes and he will look a bit older, probably have dreads or something. When he comes back, it's not like all the bearded folks with all the tattoos that like listening to Iron Maiden. They're not the only ones that will buy the lion. No, it's the lion. The wolf, the lion and the wolf. I'm getting the lion on the... Yeah, everyone is going to get him. There's tanks named after that fella. There's only about 200 copies on eBay. Yeah, this is bad. He's back. He'll be back again. He will be back again. He's back. He'll be back again. But the lion is back. So obviously people struggling to get him. I feel your pain because I would be there as well if I wasn't lucky enough to be in a position through your help, through your support, through your generosity, through you watching my stuff. I wouldn't be in a place where Games Workshop sends me stuff. I was actually lucky enough to be in the place even before Warhammer TV launched to be the first YouTuber on the old Warhammer TV. We filmed that before it went up, and I was there at Games Workshop with Rob, the Honest Wargamer, and got to play a game, and it was amazing. And since then, because of your support and because you like what I do, Games Workshop have decided to give a bunch of people like me free stuff. And that's all I started doing this for way back in the day, is like, can I make enough on videos and things so the hobby pays for itself? Because my hobby budget, back when I met my girlfriend, was basically we had this rule, okay? We're both working full-time in a factory. We have no kids. We're getting a decent enough wage, and she can spend stuff and I can, there's all the stuff, but budget. She was like, well, how much do you spend on this? And I was, how much do you spend now? How much do you spend about now? Before you met me, and now we're talking about budgets and things. I was like, well, honestly, I spent about £200 a month on that was about it. Some months I might be 700 quid because there was a thing. Some months there might only be 20 quid, but on average, I reckon across the course, I've been spending about £200 a month every month. But yeah, I didn't mention the Titan, and you don't mention the trips that you go on, and that weekend is 800 quid. You know what? You don't mention those. It's about that much. And so she said to me, right at the start of it, so long as you don't spend more than 200 a month, every month, whatever on the hobby, I won't ever ask. I won't have a conversation. I won't, that's your, go. That's your hobby budget. And so it was like, damn it. That's what I need YouTube to make. I need free stuff. And that's like a £200 pay rise. And so thank you for helping me get that pay rise. and get free stuff from Games Workshop. Sorry, you can get the stuff. It's a Primarch. How did they get it wrong? Hi, Winters. Thought the Sisters of Battlebox taught them how to fix this problem. Guess they cannot learn. Yeah. Warsmith Koras. My local game store still can't get any 8-bound. Still can't get any 8-bound. How about as well, while we're talking about it, where are those bastards? These are like unicorn poo right now. They're really hard to get hold of. With the Kill Team releases, we had GW pull back some of our boxes assigned to stores. That meant stores had to cancel pre-orders. We might see that with a Lion yet. Yeah, what's up here? There are still people waiting for their Angron. Whoa. In New Zealand. Well, yes. I mean, it takes a long time to paddle there. It's a long way away. And also, once you get off the edge of the world, you've got to hang on and monkey bar your way back. Because you're all... Where are we? There are people still waiting for their Angron. They bought on pre-release. And yes, I think I just reread that. I got you. Law glasses are on. Yes, you see me with the law glasses on in case we want to discuss some law. Because we can move on. Can we move on about how badly they messed this... they messed this one up. I think we've covered have we covered in the elephant in the room? Have we? When you live in Middle Earth, things take time. Exactly. But at least you live in Middle Earth, where you get second breakfasts and 11sies and, yeah, lots of food. Winters, I want to get the new Terminators and make them Night Lord Termies. Do you like that idea? Why did my brain go dead? I think I was genuinely what I was thinking about was what new Terminators? Because now I realise you mean 10th Terminators. But with Night Lords, my brain went to Horus Heresy, and I was thinking of plastic Tartarus, plastic Cataphracti. Why wouldn't that look good as Night Lords? It would all look good as everything. It sounds beautiful. It's your 40k. Go for it. Put up pictures on the interweb, DM me, join my Discord, tier 2 channel member, or tier 3, get loads of extra videos as well. And come join the community, share in your hobby expansion. I'd love to see them. Where are we? No, you came to vents. No, we're going to 13th and Gulliman, sign me up. The 13th and Gulliman rocked today. Check out me Instagram, winters _ Instagram SEO thing. Instagram. Anyway, it'll be up tomorrow. You're the best, Winters. Thank you, says Con. After 30 minutes of receiving the notification email at 9:30, all sold out. Yes. Where are we? Okay, law-wise, do we have an update on Luther? Right, good. So, the Law Shades of Doom are on. We've done the elephant. We've shot it, put it in the corner of the room. We can talk about some of the law in this book, which is at times beautiful and at times horrific. And one of the horrific things is there's not very many answers to questions in this book. In fact, it's dearth. It is naked of answers. It just poses more questions. And one of the answers it doesn't give is Luther. Surely Luther is the one who woke up the lion or had something to do with his resurrection, but you don't find out at all how the lion comes back in this book. You're going to have to get the Black Library book. I forget what it's called, but I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into it. So no update on Luther. Honestly, I just want that upcoming Lion book, not the model though. Hello, lovely internet people. Hello, lovely Dickie. At least the rules will be free online for 10th. I would have serious concerns about getting hold of them if I'd actually have to buy. Yeah, I mean, 10th edition, we can talk about that later as well. Everyone I've spoken to about it seems to be very positive about the whole thing. And there's a number of people interested in getting back into the hobby, and I haven't spoken to any competitive people who are saying, well, I'm going to leave. It looks like it's going to be a good thing for the hobby, because we want as many hobbyists in this hobby as we can hobby with. More kids in the playpen throwing balls at each other, all that sorts of stuff. It's fun in the playpen throwing all the balls. More questions are fun given what would happen if I'm the lion. Yeah, more questions are fun because we've all been asking what would happen if the lion wakes up. You're right, Marius Gage. What would happen if the lion wakes up? And we get a snippet of his story in this book here. It turns out that the Blood Angels find him somewhere. We don't know yet. He turns up on a Blood Angels flagship. He turns up, I think he's actually on the Red Tier. He turns up somewhere with Dante. He's just there. He's just there. We don't know how he got him. We do know that the Blood Angels... And then he goes on an adventure and Angron's involved and then they lose. And then they bugger off again. We don't even know if he's spoken to Guilliman. We don't know how long he's been hanging out for. We don't know what would happen if the Lion wakes up. We know what's happening right now. Is 10th edition? Is it Black Library? Is Arendamski Boden already working on his masterpiece? Come on now, it's exciting. Where are we? Winters, I'm loving the rules so far, but what do you think about where they're going with Twin Linked? I like them all. What's Twin Linked? I mean, reroll a hit, right? That's how it is in... I don't know what they've said Twin Linked is yet. That one I missed. I've got critical hits and devastating hits, and like devastating hits are... So if you get critical hits, 6s to hit, then they do something. So devastating hits are critical hits, and so 6s to hit, you do the mortal. You don't roll a wound, you just do mortal wounds equivalent to your damage. Then there's sustained hits, so if you get a hit, it counts as 2 hits. Then there's the melter hit, which is in half range. You get add whatever the number is, add 2, add 4, whatever that number might be. What is Twin Linked? Twin Linked is reroll a wound. It used to be reroll a hit, so it's reroll a wound now, is it? Okay, that used to be shred or rend. Rend if you're going up against... Well, shred is a reroll a wound in 40k. And Sunder is reroll armor penetration, in 30k. But Twin Linked is reroll a hit. But Twin Linked going to reroll a wound? Great, fine, good. Because there'll be many armies out there with many Twin Linked guns. Yeah, cool. I'm sure it'll all balance out in the end. My wife claims ADB's writing is sexually charged, but I can't see it. I've been Warhammer's fan since I was 11. And therefore there's zero sexiness in the setting for me. Yeah, ADB. He knows what the women like, man. He reaches those wifely places, I'm sure. Oh. And you can get it on melee weapons. Good, yeah. Me, sorry I'm late. It's fine, I forgive you. Yeah, so Twin Linked on melee weapons, Twin Linked on shooting weapons. I like USRs. I like the fact that it's back. USRs, we've got Twin Linked, we've got critical hits, we've got lethal hits, we've got sustained hits. These all sound like there might be 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 of these, but you'll know them within a couple of times of playing. And if you don't know them, then there's a 50-50 chance that your opponent will know them, or they'll be on a page and it'll be right there. Beautiful stuff. I love the fact that the Rhino has got 2 firing hatches again, and it repairs, and it doesn't even need a 6 to repair, it just repairs. People were worried, I was worried, that we'd lose a bit of the flavour because the codexes are trimming down a little bit. Because they're simplifying, but not simple. But they're putting stuff back in. Firing slots on rhinos, and vehicles are tougher now, which they should be. And I talked about that years ago on some video, and I've been talking about it on the live streams quite a bit. Vehicles should be harder to crack, man. I'm finally going to play when 10th is out. Not played since 6th. Well, welcome back to the fold, Robert Kirkby. There's a number of people who are thinking about getting back in at 10th. I think it's going to be a successful edition. So Caliban has been turned into a Webway tunnel making machine, like those big things that made the channel tunnel. Yes. Yeah, so basically the way it works is Vashtorr and the Arcs of Omen, he made the Arcs of Omen in order to have these massive things that could go and get the bits of the key. And the key, the last couple of bits he needed of the key was 3 bits, which are 3 bits of Old One's tech from the First War in Heaven. And one of them was Tljugka from the Rock, which we met in 30k, the warp drive component for the Lion, so he could jump around all over the place. He's in 30k. Turns out that at the end of the from there to now, he's been imprisoned, kept in the Rock, and Vashtorr talks to Kim, and why he made the bits of the key out of Caliban rather than another planet or another planet or another planet is because Caliban itself has parts of the key to the Old One's thing. Anyone, again, in the Horus Heresy, Caliban is very thin. It's very close to the warp. It bleeds through. It seeps out, and you have the great beasts on Caliban. It was a death world before the coming of the Lion People. It was a death world, like Catachan, like Fenris. It was not a nice place to be. You wouldn't want to go on holiday. It would be like parachuting back into Jurassic Park, the world. It's like that. Like the Earth was many years ago, was a death world. You wouldn't want to go there. Warp bleeding through. And so it needed to be that with all the bits locked into place, and it turns into a massive channel tunnel boring machine. And what happens is time and space around it, it's like the fleet are leaving, the good guy fleets are leaving, like getting out of here, this thing is powering up, and they're watching the readings of this thing go off the scale, and they're watching the stars bend towards it and get swallowed towards it, and they watch this. It's like a pin drop. It's like a blackness goes woof. And the key, Caliban, this demon pumping engine, falls. It's not like it goes anywhere, it just like falls into this. And the Chaos Battle Fleet go after them, including the Ark of Omen that Vashtor's on, including the Vengeful Spirit and Abaddon, and a good chunk of the 13th Black Crusade just fall. And it's not into the warp, it's in spaces between the warp, because this is one of the ancient tunneling machines that the Old Ones used to cut the Webway. Yes, the Eldar used the Webway to get here, there, and everywhere. And yes, Cormorra, Heart of the Dark Eldar, is deep inside the Webway, but the Eldar did not make the Webway. The Webway was made by the Old World Ones way back as a way of crossing time and space. You literally walk through a door on... This is the galaxy. It's this big. You could walk through a door here and walk out of the door there on the other side of the galaxy. Now, some parts of the Webway also go down to Webway nodes, and you go through this extant space, this place between the worlds, this place between the reality and the underverse. So you can walk inside it as well, hence Cormorra was born. But you can literally go through one door and out another. It's like basically, if you really, really wanted to go to, I don't know, the Maldives, and you could open the door and then step out in the Maldives, and it was a lovely invention. And now the Forces of Chaos has it. Vashtorr has it. He makes very clear in this book that with this weapon he could rip apart the galaxy itself if he wanted to. But can't exactly find the passage. But he could rip apart. He could go in and out and in and out and in and out, and basically do so much to Newtonian physics, and he could do so much to the fabric of reality that basically the galaxy gets ripped apart. He doesn't say that he doesn't want to do that. He just says, hey, I could do this now. But what he wants to do is use the key to find the lock to unlock the weapon that will change the fate of the galaxy. That's all we'll know. And then Vashtorr wants to use that weapon to ascend with his Peasley 14 wounds. He wants to take on Khorne and Slat. He wants to become the fifth Chaos God. And Abaddon is all about changing the fate of the galaxy. He thinks he might be able to use the weapon too. That's the law. Chaos win. But it's a bit frustrating because, well, it ends. But it's the first time I know of a hunk of lore, because we had the Gathering Storm books that came to an end. Each of the books had an ending-ish to them, or a season 1 roundup. They had a season 1, season 2, season roundup through the Gathering Storm. And in other core books and in other stuff, Games Workshop has always been very careful to make sure stuff has a settling point so we can do our play. But this is moving on. This is moving up. This is moving out into a whole new world. A whole what do we think, people? Can rip apart the galaxy. His stats say that was a lie. I know. He's supposed to be a 5th Chaos God. He'd take on Khorne. 14 wounds. So I haven't read it, obviously, but the implication is that the lion has been rocking around for a while collecting his redeemed killing chaos. Is that what you got? How you reckon he's been awake? So, okay. The book starts with this bit here. And this bit says, long slumbered the lion in tragedy's wake. Far wandered his sleeping mind, following strange paths through the arboreal mists of a shattered world, even as slowly, so slowly, his broken body healed. Monstrous and otherworldly were the things he hunted through the shadowed ghost glades, while beyond his crypt the stars wheeled and the sands of time whirled upon hurricane winds. The lion slept on. Darkness deepened between the stars. Tragedy piled upon tragedy. Hope became the opiate of the fools, and even such heroes as Lionel Johnson slumbered and whispered into myth. And then light, then wakefulness, then striding tall, purposeful, armoured, blade in hand. Cowed and watchful, the mind dislocated from its old truths, even as the body burned with fresh vitality, and his heart beat with the cold resolution of vengeance. Parting veils of slithered shadow through the ghosts of Caliban's slain forest the lion walked, abroad in the galaxy once more for loyalty, for the hunt, for the Emperor. And it's a lovely piece of prose, and that's the main prose on how you find out the lion is awake, and that's it. The next bit has him fighting in a battleship belonging to the Blood Angels and Dante with a number of his brothers who were once fallen, but the lion has forgiven, and they now call themselves the Risen. Hope is the first step on the path of disappointment. Yeah, so his lore now has him stepping out of Caliban. He can teleport. Can he do it all the time? Is it only when he hunts monsters? Does he do it when he's sleeping? These questions, we need answers. We need the Caliban book. We need the Lion's book. When does that book come out? Anyone know when that book comes out? Is it out? If it's out, I'm getting it. If it's out, I'll get it, smash it, come back on a live stream, spoil the crap out of it. Only kidding. I could do a spoilers live stream, because there's a number of people who probably wouldn't want to. But yeah, where are we? Are the Risen gluten free? No. It goes on pre-order today. Does it? What's the name of the book? What is it called? Pre-order today. I'm writing it on my thing. So yeah, there's 6 named Fallen who seem to be really big deals. Six named Risen here, and they've actually got a little bit of spiel about them. But when the lion comes down to the surface of Caliban Reborn, the clockwork world, there's hundreds of them with him, armoured in black in the old Dark Angels livery of black. Son of the forest, son of a bitch. The lion, child of the forest. Which is it? Lion, son of the forest. So I'm just son of the forest. I'll be able to find it with that. The lion. I'll be able to find it. Brilliant. Thank you. The reviews of the story certainly make it sound. Yeah, I've stayed away from reviews and spoiler reviews. Thank you. The Lion's Wood. You think these Risen will get their own models? Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's money in them, their hills. So they bring back... So we don't know how they're going to do successor chapters yet. So, it shouldn't be a successor chapter. But you've got the Space Marines book. But then you've got Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Death Watch. And then the others. The Raven Guard, the Ultramarines, Salamanders, Imperial Fists, Crimson Fists, the Fallen, or the Risen, Reborn. The Risen, fallen who have been forgiven by the lion. One of the Risen in this actually turns to the lion and says, you might have forgiven me, but the rest of the unforgiven, the rest of the Dark Angels, they're going to go nuts about this. And the lion says, no, they will follow what I say because I say it. Because if there was an even shred of taint in you, you wouldn't be here. I vouch for you, essentially. The lion sees the good in their souls. There's some of the fallen, some of Luther's kin, some of those who grew up on Caliban, who probably weren't in cahoots with Luther's plan. And when the lion came back, they were probably like, yay, it's the lion, he's back. Luther hasn't been letting us off this planet, let's go. And if Luther continued making Space Marines at the rate he made Space Marines, somewhere in the region of, I remember in the Black Library, he made something like 20,000 a year or so. He was churning them out. Very, very good at what he did. So there could be tens of thousands of fallen / risen. There's a whole, so depending on how they do all the successor stuff, I do hope that a whole new chapter comes out, don't you? Don't imagine them in Mark 3, Mark 4, Mark 5, even some Mark 6 plate from back in the heresy with all the they'd all be veterans now with all their own stuff, with all the mastercrafted. It would be that you could get some cool kit bashing out of that, some cool looking models out of that. Yes. I think the one thing I've seen so far, our 10th edition, that I don't like the look of is the loss of faction and self-faction traits going. I want Blood Angels to feel like Blood Angels. Yeah, we're going to have to see how that works out. Like I said, hopefully it'll all work out fine. Hopefully. And not just be Red Space Marines. Hopefully it'll all work out fine. Hopefully they get, instead of Oath of Moment, they get +1 to advance and charge or something. Which is what they get now. Well, no, +1 to wound as well on the charge. That's 3 rules. They can't have all of them. It's 10th edition. Make it simpler. +1 to wound on the charge. Or in close combat. Make it even easier. Just in close combat. Mind you, shred. Things you could give them. If I was fallen, I still wouldn't want to hang out with those green guys. No, I mean, particularly after 10,000 years, right? The Space Marines 10,000 years into the future are a bit different from the Space Marines hanging out around the time of the Horus Heresy. In the future, they've got no chill. In the future, no chill whatsoever. Winters, what do you think about the 6 troops max limit for 10th Ed? Does that mean I can only field 60 of my 200 Cadian shock troops against the equivalent of 60k? Does it seem fair? Well, we need to see what the final thing is for force organization, how that impacts the game modes they have, because they might have match play competitive play, they might have match play casual, match play pickup games, match play Maelstrom of War, as in old school Maelstrom of War. They might have open play. Now, one of the things that the 10th edition book can have, which sets it apart and makes it one of the beautiful books, rule books that we'll ever have, is multiple ways to play. Let's have 6 different ways. Let's have in open play is what it is. In narrative play, let's have examples of city fight. Let's have examples of planet strike. Let's have examples of apocalypse and stick your crusade in there. And then in the match play, let's have 6 games. There's 6 games in the main rule book that you can play, pickup games. And then let's have Maelstrom of War. And then let's have tournament play or competitive play at the top end. So it depends on how the missions are, and it depends on what the final force org is and how it relates to every single one of those missions. Assuming what you mean is, what do you think of it now versus 9th edition? Well, you can only take 6 troops in 9th edition right now, right? Or can you take 9? You can take 9, but it used to be 6, and it was always 6. So I guess I'm okay with that. Where are we? Monkey High. Currently listening while doing the dishes. Keep me entertained, boss. Okay. I take requests. What would you like to hear me sing? Did you guys hear that? Is 40k lore so dense? Is 40k lore so dense and literature dependent that making it into a great movie is impossible? Well, Henry Cavill is working on a TV series, and the Eisenhorn TV series is in the works. And the Eisenhorn TV series is being produced by the same company behind the Men in the High Castle. So, Man in the High Castle, so big money. And maybe a movie. Maybe not a movie, but maybe like the best TV show ever to be made. Like Stranger Things meets Breaking Bad meets Firefly meets Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because of the Xenos side. You know, it'd be cool, right? Did I hear you mention the Red Tear? The Red Tear, sorry. That ship was missing from the Dante books, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Sanguinius' old flagship, the Red Tier. It's Gloriana class. I thought it was one of the ones that's still kicking around. I could be wrong. I tried getting into a Eisenhorn and I just can't. I think it's because I don't like the Inquisition. Brandon Myers, if you don't like the Inquisition, then don't go reading Inquisition books. Because you won't like them. It's like me back in the day trying to... I could never get on with Chaos books. It took me until the end of all things. It took me until... it took me a while to actually see. It took me the Night Lords trilogy from Aaron Dembski-Bowden. Smash that one instead, Brandon Myers. You'll like that one. It's lovely. No Inquisitors in that whatsoever. Real talk. Firefly was not that good. Grand Master Alfarius, get out. Just get out. I did a battle report today. So for those of you that have been over to my Instagram, winters_SEO, you'd seen I put a picture up with 5 Primarchs. Yes, Angron, Mortarion, Magnus versus Guilliman and the Lion. But more than that, I had 3,000 points. Guilliman was controlling a force of the 13th and the Lion was controlling a force of Dark Angels. So 1,513th with Guilliman at its head, 1,500 points of Dark Angels at its head, and opposite them was Mortarion, Magnus and Angron. And Angron had a small World Eaters thing. He had 1,000 points. Mortarion, a small... There's 1,000 points of Death Guard right there. And Magnus with 1,000 points of his 1,000 Suns right there. 3,000 points aside. 5 Primarchs. Who will be left standing? Filmed that one today. That's going up tomorrow. Really looking forward to showing you that one. But who do you think wins? I've heard good things about the Night Lords trilogy. Yes, it is. It's amazing. And the audiobook of it as well is amazing. The book is good. It's good. It's good. You got the Lion painted up sharpish. Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, I'm one of those people who is lucky enough for Games Workshop to send me stuff. So I've had it sat there for a couple of days. I'm not that happy with it. It's okay. He's okay. Thing is, there's a lot of black on it. And the base is kind of dull. Because I made it to fit in with... Normally, I'd be a lot more... Not dull. It's blurred and red. It's all... Normally, I'd pick it out a bit more, all the stuff on there. But I needed to keep it at the same colour palette as the rest of my Dark Angels. And the rest of my Dark Angels were painted up gloriously by Den of Imagination Painting Studios. So I wanted it to fit in with that. Mick the Machine, thank you for your donation. First of the day. Any plans to do a new army for 10th edition, or will you just look to add to your existing forces? Initially, my thoughts are to add to my existing forces. I'm very much looking forward to the Tyranids and all the new Tyranid stuff, and really add in a good 2,000 points worth of Tyranids to all the Tyranids. And then for Space Marines, I haven't got a great desire to add to the 13th because they've got so much. And because I'm adding to all the Horus Heresy stuff. But I have got an itch. After the Lion came out, and I've got about 1,500 points worth of Dark Angels as it stands right now, or the Deathwing. I was thinking I could ask Den to do a nice chunk of Dark Angels as well, and add to my Dark Angels force. So it'd be nice to have like a couple of thousand points worth of Deathwing and a couple of thousand points worth of Raisin-Wing, and the Lion as well. That would be nice. That is pickling my imagination right now, and all the new Tyranids, and I'm loving the Heresy right now still. So lots of things. So starting a new army, no plans, no capes. No capes. Would you like some Tyranids with your Tyranids? Yes, I would definitely like some Tyranids with my Tyranids. I want more Tyranids with my Tyranids. The ones with the big, sharp, nasty, pointy teeth. The new, Rin's World things, they look lovely. Give me all the Tyranids. Ravenwing would be glorious. It would be. And then if they do a Risen Codex or Fallen Codex, that would be cool as well. I'd be all over that. All like flies against fly paper. I'll be... Give me some of that fly paper. That's what I'd be like. So, can the Lion teleport now? Is that can he do it all the time? Could he end up in the Emperor's golden throne? And if not, and if so, why doesn't he go back and have a chat with old dad? Has he had a chat with old dad? Where can he teleport to? What is he got range? Is there a range to his teleportation? This forest walk ability. He wakes up from his sleep and then walks out of the forests of Caliban into real space. Could he do that in 30k? He couldn't do it in 30k. So, why? What's going on there? With the forest thingy, exactly. Teleport to the plotted paths. I know, there's one, I did that AOS battle report, and there were trees in that could teleport to the other trees, right? How did he get Big E's shield? Is that explained? No. The Emperor's shield, the Emperor's sword. I imagine. Do you remember in No Fear when Theal, the Red Marked, was going to get censured by Guilliman at the start of the book? So the sergeant stood there waiting for Guilliman to come out, and he realizes that he's in a weapons depository, and all around him there are literally thousands of weapons, from bolt guns to missile launchers to rapiers to swords to this and that, and he starts playing around with a bunch of them, and it's Guilliman's private collection. Do you realise how many weapons the Big E would have when they were... This is the Big E's shield. This is the Emperor's shield. And Guilliman's got the Emperor's sword. And then when Rogel Dawn will have back, he'll have the Emperor's hat on. And when Corax comes back, we'll have the Emperor's moped. They'll have so much stuff from the Emperor's stuff all over the stuff. The Emperor collected lots of stuff. He'd been around for a while. So it doesn't tell you how he got the shield. But considering how long the Emperor's been around and how much stuff he had, I'm surprised people aren't just bumping over it as they go around there. I mean, Marnius Calgar must bump into it every now and then while he's walking around McCrag. People should, it should be ubiquitous. Maybe that's what mastercrafted weaponry is. It's basically stuff that the Emperor used to have once upon a time, and that's why there's lots of it everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't tell you how he got it though, but I imagine he found it down the back of the sofa. I love the irony of the lion preferring to hang out with the fallen. It's wonderfully 40k. It is. It's like, did he, when he's forest walking and he wakes up, does he see them first? Or is he woken up by them because it is Cypher and the Fallen, and that's the bit missing from the book that is on pre-order today, and we need to get our hands on the book. Maybe the Fallen got to him first, who are now risen. Can get the Emperor's motorbike. Imagine it, exactly. Guess not much point in Ferris getting the Emperor's hat. No, there isn't much point in getting the Ferris. See, unironically, Forge World released a Ferris Manus Primarch for the Horus Heresy. I mean, he's not in it, is he? It sort of starts and he's no longer there. So, you know, poor Ferris. He was such a nice guy. I forget what it's called, but basically in his flagship, he has this council of Forge Lords. Forge Lords? I think they're called Forge Lords. Iron Fathers. He has the Circle of Iron Fathers. They're the chapter masters. There could be up to 50 of them, and they're in the War Council chamber. And the name for the War Council chamber was the Hall of Dissent. The idea was that you were supposed to dissent. You were supposed to disagree, even if you agreed perfectly with the plan of operations. Ferris Manus wanted his generals to disagree with him and wanted all the Forge Lords to... God, my brain. They wanted them... You need to hammer an idea into shape like iron. And I like that. Imagine Fulgrim or Perturabo or Angron having... It's your job to disagree with me. It's your job to hammer this argument into shape, this plan, this one. Yeah, the Dissenting Hall. Great. He was a nice guy, really, when you think about it. That makes sense. But why is he in the heresy? I don't know. Ferris get the Emperor's spare head. I don't know if the Emperor's had a spare head. Maybe he did. He could just sort of swap it Futurama style. They each get what they need. Ferris gets the Emperor's helm. Poor Iron Hands players. So many losing your heads jokes. Not enough, though. There could always be more. A naysayer, wasn't that a Roman thing? Yeah. Like everything is Roman. The roads, double glazing. They were keen for it. Naysayers. But no, it literally called the Dissenting Hall or the Hall of Dissent or something like that. It's definitely dissent something. And they all used to argue in it. Well, not argue, but debate an idea, battle plan of attack. It's a nice idea. The Lion can teleport now. I guess that's the thing. They are coming back, but with more powers than they had before, except for Guilliman. Mind you, I guess Guilliman. See, the thing is, the lion has lived an age, whereas Guilliman was trapped inside that stasis thing for a very long time, right? He was like, time didn't move for him, so maybe that's why he hasn't time to level up yet. But clearly, the lion has leveled up. He can teleport now. They fly now. The Iron Hands Discord will ban you for making those head jokes. Will they? You'd think that those guys would be all over that stuff. Where are we? In a Discord server, we talked about how Ferris was apparently taller than Vulcan, according to Fulgrim. Ferris was a full head taller than Vulcan, so same height for now. Yeah, Magnus was the tallest. I don't know if Ferris was. Magnus was the tallest. I know that. Vulcan was a pretty broad, big guy. Alpharius, obviously the smallest. I mean, there was only half of him kicking around, wasn't he? Would you rather fight a chicken every time you get in a car for the rest of your life, or a lion once every year for the rest of your life? Chicken in a car, definitely. I don't want to fight a lion ever. Not unless I'm allowed something like, I don't know, an F-16 fighter. If I was given and the lessons and the flying things, and that would be cool, learning how to fly one of them. Come on now. But if I had one of them versus a lion, fine. If I could pick my weapons of war. But versus a chicken in the car all the time, every time you went, I just wouldn't, I'd cycle. It would become cycling. I don't go much out more. Outside is... I don't get out much these days. They can fly now. Chicken, you never have to buy dinner again. See, there's another reason why. You just want chicken. You go to the car. There's a chicken in there. Beat him like a penguin. Pluck that. Eat that. Shit that out later. Lovely. The circle of life. Free chicken every time you get in a car. Now that's a business model. Exactly. Every time. So you could you could sell chicken. You buy the side of the road. It's like chicken, live chicken, £1. Someone rocks up and says, seriously, you're going to sell me a live chicken for £1? You go, yeah, give me a quid. Open your car door, chicken, grab it. There you go, chicken, yours. Done. Choke that chicken every time you travel. Yeah. Start selling fresh chicken. So you can teleport now. 10th edition, huh? Let's talk about 10th edition for a bit. So you've seen the vehicles. We like the strength and toughness of vehicles, right? Like Melter Rifle is strength 9 and a Rhino is strength armor 10. Nice. But it's AP 4, so once it gets through, it does its thing. The Skimmers are toughness 9. The Redeemer toughness 12. Like it. I'm surprised by the high number of their objective count. Like these big vehicles actually count as 5 guys. But I guess if there was a tank in my back garden, I couldn't really be said to control that objective. If there's an M1 Abrams sat there and I go out and say, no, this is my garden, I think the M1 Abrams could beg to disagree with me on that. So maybe 5 OC is right for big tanks. You need a lot of guys, preferably with melter or grenades, or something like that to shut that tank down, I think. But the Alpha Legion had some of the biggest legionnaires, so their Primarch could blend with the Emperor. Didn't Didn't work like that. The Ferris appearing amongst other Primarchs is there's a whole thing that my brain, yeah. Moving on. What were we talking about? 10th edition. I like the armor values. I like the toughness. Do we like the toughness? I like toughness. I like the firing hatch on the rhinos. I like the rules that I see for the weapons. Everything about 10th so far is good. I like the heavy weapon rule. If they stand still, +1 to hit, not -1, not minuses to hit if you're walking with heavy stuff, but a plus to hit if you stand still when the weapon is heavy. See, so you're not screwing people. You're instead. So a unit of Devastators sat somewhere at the back, or a unit with some heavy guns. Like you said, that heavy rifle was heavy. Pluses to hit if they stand still. That sounds good. It's not penalizing you for doing something like moving because you stick to all your stats and It's not like, okay, now I'm hitting on 4s. It's not penalizing you for moving. So you can still move, you can still do your thing, But if you get them into position and they're heavy weapons and then pluses to hit. I like it. It's even easier to hit things at range rather than running through a battlefield and firing from the hip or firing from this or firing. They're stead in a position there, and it'll help guard armies. It'll help. You can see how it can help Tau armies as well. It'll help armies that normally hit on 4s. Higher toughness is awesome. At least tanks will feel a bit more like tanks now. I know, right? Towards the end of 9th, there was less and less tanks appearing because they just tanks for the memory. They were gone. Now that bolt rifles are 24, do we think we're done with firstborns being a thing? Don't know. I hope so. I saw people talking that maybe they're just going to be called Primaris Marines going forward, and everything's a Primaris Marine, including the firstborn stuff. I don't know. Or maybe they just... I don't know. I can see them rapid. I don't know. I don't know how the Primaris and first thing is going to go. I don't. It makes... There's so many ways you could go. You could go... you could go up. You could go down. You could go left. You could go right. You could go forward. You could go backwards. You could go all around. And it makes me dizzy just thinking about it. I don't know which way they're going to go. We need... That's an answer we need. The core rule really screwed vehicles. Well, they're getting rid of core rules. The core rule is gone. We know there's no more core. The fact they don't specify makes me think it doesn't matter anymore. They're all Space Marines. I hope so. But that Primaris Lieutenant datasheet said one of the keywords was Primaris Lieutenant. It wasn't, or Primaris Marine. It wasn't Space Marine, it wasn't Marine, it wasn't Astartes, it was Primaris Marine. That was the keyword in there, which suggests that there'll be some Marines that are not Primaris, unless everyone's Primaris. As long as my trucks remain as my melee MVPs, I'll be happy. Nice. Changes look good for Marines, but bad for my orcs. When toughness is your only defense. Oh dear. Having toughness 5 orcs as standard has been a big change. We're going to get more toughness 5 Space Marines with Terminators and all the Gravis stuff. But toughness 5 is pretty big. The trucks will go up. Didn't they say the Stomper was like toughness 16 or something? Or Stomper or Gorkamort? They've got some really tough things now. Battle wagons are going to be toughness 12. We're going to see Bone Breakers back and stuff. It's going to be lovely. Oh, and of course the kill rig, the new chonky things, blah, blah, blah. I just want my Land Raiders to be useful again. Well, if they're toughness 12... maybe they'll be useful again. Toughness 12 is a chonk. That means Melters wounding them on 5s. Las Cannons wounding them on 5s. It's good. The only thing that should really reliably go through a Land Raider is something like a railgun or volcano cannon. Something that armies only have one or two of in their entire thing. Because who needs a gun that big? In the modern military, you don't have guns that are stupidly large on everything. That's not how that shit works. It's not how any of this works. So yeah, toughness 12 Land Raiders with a 2-up save and hopefully a few more wounds. And also, remember, most vehicles won't degrade and only some will degrade and only degrade when they're only on a 3rd wounds left and only -1 to hit. So no more hitting on 5s with a vehicle for half the game and half the time you're hitting on 6s anyway because the thing that you're trying to shoot at is -1 to hit already. No more of that, which is good. So that automatically makes Land Raiders better again. I like Land Raiders. They're so iconic. Hey, Winters, do you know where you can get really good triple chocolate cookies? Stylus, you were here today and you brought down some really good triple chocolate cookies. Please stand by. Stylus, I didn't realise. Of course they're really good. That's from the bin next door. They're M&S food. You didn't just bring me food. You brought me M&S food. That's why those triple chocolate cookies were so sexy. I told him already, Stylus, that we had the 5-way clash today. 3,000 points worth of Imperium led by Guilliman and the Lion versus 3,000 points worth of Chaos led by Angron, Mortarion and the other one, Magnus, your one, the shit one. We did that today. Thank you for coming down. That'll be up on the YouTubes tomorrow. But triple chocolate cookie from M&S. I actually quite like, because M&S obviously cricket back out of the park every single time. But the Asda one, Asda do a stem ginger butter cookie, and that one's nice as well for a cheap Asda one. But yeah, M&S all the way. There are other brands available. This is not an ad. Toughness 13 Winters. Land Raiders deserve toughness 13. I agree with you. 13 is my favourite number. Knights are going to be crazy. Yes. But if you only have 1-2 guns to deal with the target, the opponent can focus on those units that have a... Well, you see, that's the thing. You'll only have 1 or 2 targets to deal with it, and you'll have to try and deal with it. Or you can pay the tank tax and ignore it, because, let's face it, what is a Land Raider kit? It'll balance better. It feels like that more in Heresy. What happens to your tanks in Heresy is either they disappear real quick because you do get those glorious shots through, or they stick around for ages, and that's how it should feel in 40k. Either you do manage to get the tank with, and yeah, they shouldn't all be gone in turn 2. That's silly. Did you bring enough for the rest of the class? No, Warsmith Koras, sorry. We ate all the triple chocolate cookies and they were goddamn lovely. Sanguinary Guard. Now hear me out. Okay. Technically, a golf truck with a wrecking ball can technically kill 10 guardsmen, so long as you only roll 6s to hit. Your logic is sound. Waitrose cookies are game changers. Yeah, okay. Waitrose and M&S. For those colonists out there who don't know what we're talking about, I think of the store in your country that has the better food. You know, the people who go to this store, they all land in helicopters in these stores, and they ride into the store on some ponies. Those kind of stores. I think Whole Foods or something. I don't know what it is in America, but you have Waitrose here and Marks and Spencer's for those that fly in. And Stylus clearly flew into his local M&S to get these cookies for me. But Asda stem ginger butter cookies are also fantastic. And let's not forget Maryland. What would we do without Maryland? I do love a really good cookie. See, there's 3 types of people in the world. There's cookie people, there's crisp people, and there's chocolate people. And you can ask people, you can go up to them and say, and I have asked this question many times in my life. If you were stranded on a desert island, guys, stranded on a desert island, right? And a container ship crashed onto that desert island full of this thing. You got to pick one of three things. Either the container ship was full of cookies and all the variations of cookies, and yes, chocolate fingers count as well, and the chocolate cover, so long as they're like cookies, and you would get them in the cookies aisle at Tesco's. A container ship full of cookies, and a container ship full of crisps, chips, dips, and popcorn. All the savory people out there who love their Doritos or can eat crisps for days. Container ship full of that. Or a container ship full of chocolates. And in the chocolates, you can have all sorts of chocolates. There's no grey areas here. If you can buy it in a chocolate aisle in any store, anywhere, it's chocolates. What would your container ship be? Are you a chocolate person? Are you a crisp person? Or are you a cookies person? And what say you? Crisps all the way, cookies all day, chocolate gang rise up. You see, straight away, 3 different people, 3 different answers. Chocolate all day long. Maryland are the firstborn cookies. Maryland are epic. Cookies, more carbs, more survival. Rescue ship finds me looking... Death by salt. Rescue ship finds me looking like a raisin. That's tough. I think I'm going cookies. Yeah, you got to pick one, man. You got to pick one. Its container ship is full of one load of shit. What do you pick? Yes, it's going to be crisps. The chocolates would melt on a desert island. No, see, this is the thing. It could be a desert island in a temperate climate. We're not spoiling any food. There isn't going to be a zombie invasion either, and you get to eat all the shit yourself. So it doesn't matter how big you get. It doesn't matter. You're on there. This is your life now. You're never getting off. Container ship, a lifetime supply with the fridges, kept on a cool cycle. Or if you need a microwave, there's a microwave in there as well. Can I have half rice, half chips? No. Jerky, because it won't go stale. No, we've nailed the freezer down. We've got that. Alcohol. Alcohol, so chocolate. Alcohol would have been a 4th one. But no, it's foods. Cookies all day long. This is better than cake or pie. It's all magic. Nothing spoils. Nothing gets ruined. Exactly. Cookies, since cake isn't an option. See, cake is a 4th option, but I've run this experiment. Most people will pick, or everyone will pick. There's 3. You don't need cake. You don't need the Jaker in the pack. You will pick crisps or cookies or chocolate. And I'm a cookie guy. I'm a cookie guy all the way. And I'm still surprised the number of crisps guys out there. There's a lot of crisp guys out there. A lot of people like their Doritos and their dips and all their things. Yeah. If cake becomes an option, I'll go cake. There's no cake. It's like no capes. No cake. Okay? Burgers, fish and chips or pizza. See what you've done, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. As soon as you say cake, then people want burgers. They want fish and chips. Mr. Kipling just isn't sold in every country. He's not available here. Thank you for that, Robert Love. Steak and eggs. No. The cake is a lie. Exactly. As soon as you open that door to cake, before you know it, you're growing a 3rd tentacle. You've got a tail. You've cut 8-fold stars all over the place, and you're thinking that the Emperor's 4-armed or something. Cake leads to madness. Okay, there is no cake. Need unlimited tea. Need unlimited tea if we have unlimited cookies. Ketchup and rice. Choc dipped ginger nut fingers with a nice cup of tea for the absolute win. Oh. What about Jaffa Cakes? Jaffa Cakes are cakes. But you can get them in the biscuit aisle. Therefore, they're biscuits for this. See, there's no grey areas here. If you can buy it in that aisle, you know the aisle, because the crisps, they're in their separate place. They're hiding around the corner. They've got the popcorns with them. They got the Pringles with them, and the crisps are nearly always hanging out with coffee and the hot chocolates and all that. Then they're hanging out over there. The cookie aisle, the biscuit aisle, that's its own thing. That's nearly close to the cereal, nearly always. But you got your hobnobs in there. Come on now, the commandos of biscuits. You've got your Jaffa Cakes in there. They're all allowed in there. And then in a separate aisle. And I'm not saying that we should divide these foodstuffs. I'm all about bringing everyone together. There's one race. We're the human race. We must unite under the Emperor of Mankind and take back the rightful galaxy. You know these things. The galaxy is ours. Kill the Spawn, the Xenos, the Witch. mainly Eldar. You know I'm all about that life choice, but someone divided them into different aisles, the chocolate and whatever you can find in that chocolate aisle. That goes with Haribo's as well. All of them. That sweetie aisle, I should have broadened it. That's where we are. But no cakes. Okay? Cakes are for arseholes. What you're saying is cake equals heresy. Yes, I am, stuff and stuff. Thank you. Tea is trash. I honestly prefer seawater. Custard creams or bourbons every time. See, classic. I love it. I live in America. Most of our chips wouldn't be nutritiously helpful. A lot of your food isn't, is it? But I can start a fire with the grease fat from those chips. So survival is easier with the chips in America. Nice. Tea and biscuits built the Imperium. Exactly. If Jaffa Cakes can be chocolate and cookies, then crisp fans get peanuts. What? Will tea be made the correct way? Tea. Right. Yeah, it'll help if you spell the first time. Oh dear. Right, where are we? We talked about vehicles. We talked about the new 10th edition rules. They all look delightful. I'm particularly excited about the fact that characters can join units, because the day when the fellow was stood at the back and saying, hey, you shoot better, giving the reroll wands to hit or to wound or healing, that's not very heroic. I want my characters up, leading, up at the front. So that's good. I like that. Yeah, I hadn't mentioned that. The toughness, the weapons, we've been through that. Talked about law, talked about scalpers at the beginning. We've dived into this quite heavily. So I talked about and read through how the line came back, and then we got to the end bit and how it plunged a hole into a new Webway. So we're very exciting. And I'm very excited to see where the law goes. I wonder if there's some kind of wrap-up or some kind of thing that's going to happen in the 10th ed book. We know the rules are going to be free online and all the data sheets are going to be free online, but they will do a chonking core rule book, right? I mean, they're going to do one of these because they'll make money. And is there going to be, what's the law going to be like? Is there going to be, I mean, this time they ripped the galaxy in half. Not this time, the time before this time they ripped the galaxy in half. We didn't know till we got hold of this book that the galaxy had been ripped in half. They didn't even tease that in the teasers that they did in the run-up to 8th. Or did they? I can't remember. Damn it, my brain. Yes, they did. Sorry, rewind. You did know. But you didn't know what the fallout was. So, very interesting to see where they go. People like me buy the hard books. Yeah, I do like the hard books. Okay. There's some real world stuff going on in the comments section right now. Can we all get along? It's 40k. Increase the love, people. There is one race, a human race. Anyway, I think on that bombshell, unless anyone has any more questions, I will start to wrap things up. I need food, and I've talked through everything that I came online to talk about. How's Abaddon and Vashtorr getting on? Are they starting to get strained? Go back and listen to all the blurb I gave. I think you were here anyway, but basically Caliban cuts new Webway. They go in after together, side by side. Are they getting a bit strained? I think they always were strained at the beginning, and they're still strained. A permanent strained relationship. Chaos and a demon. It's Abaddon doesn't like demons, and it's always strained. It'll always be strained. I can't think of Abaddon. Are there any relationships that he has with people that aren't strained? Oh dear. Where are we? Throw dice. When are dice available to buy? There's dice available to buy everywhere all the time for everyone. If you mean my dice, they're still a good couple of months out. I can't remember where we ordered them, but it was 3 to 4 months. So I think it's been a month. So 2 to 3 months from now, if you're in the Discord and you are Mick the Machine, being one of my glorious channel members, if you'd like to support me and get extra videos and stuff like that, keep the dream pumping, then consider becoming a tier 3 channel member like Mick. And yeah, everyone in the Discord will get a heads up before anyone else. Because you guys help keep the lights on. So as soon as I get them, I'll give every one of my members at least a week's notice before everyone else. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all for coming along. There are no more questions. Thank you for listening. Be safe, be nice to each other. The line is back. It's very exciting times. I'm excited. I'm hungry. I'm going to go and eat some food. Happy wargaming.